I've heard this from so many people, including Mr. Beast. He goes, when he started out, he had a few other people that were really keen on YouTube, and they would. The best way to explain it was, why try and learn every mistake yourself when 5 people can all learn mistakes, share those mistakes with each other, so then no one does those same mistakes, and then you're learning mistakes 5 times faster. And I feel like we did a lot of that too. Like, hey, this was stupid, don't do this, or yeah, this worked, do this, and it might have only been like subtle stuff, but it just, or you just got a question like, hey, like, I don't understand, but my numbers dropped like 30 viewers at this point for some random fucking reason. Oh, that's someone's auto host coming off or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah,
and you just kind of learn, instead of you spending like an hour figuring out why the fuck my viewers dropped. It was just,
and nobody to talk to about it.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come share their experiences, stories, and share their advice. And today, I have the OGs of TARKOV. I have SlushPuppy, Pestily, Veritas, Ghost, and Sigma. Thank you guys for coming on.
Hola.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, thanks for having us.
our pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I guess, first of all, Pestily, congratulations on being a dad. How's the little baby?
Thank you. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. How's fatherhood?
It's a juggling contest of trying to manage being able to be a content creator and your dad.
Yeah, the scariest part for me, when our first one was getting in that car and then looking in the back, it's like, there's no user manual for this child. And that's just scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I just
No.
YouTube.
No.
It amazes me that you can just knock one out without getting a license. But like, you can get when you get a car, you gotta do so much shit. Like you can, like a fucking 13-year-old could just bash one of those out in a night, and then you get a car. You have to like learn how to drive for like years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, because at 18, I bought a fucking semi-automatic AK, and even then, that required a call to the feds for a background check.
Yeah.
That was infinitely more like checking of my history than fuck.
Yeah, baby.
I had kids at 18. Yeah.
That's it. They're like, don't go 5 kilometers over the speed limit. You'll accidentally kill someone. But like, you could accidentally be raising Hitler without knowing it. And, you're just like, and then no one's there saying, no, don't do that. Stop hitting him so much. Like, he's gonna fucking go crazy.
Now, is this why you guys stopped doing the podcast? Yes, it's
We just had to constantly run a disclaimer all the time.
We planned this for like months. Get ready.
We can't be held liable for the content of SlushPuppy.
Well, to be honest, to answer your question, the reason the podcast stopped is we all were kind of just busy with our own thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like Sigma was moving, Ghostfreak was moving, Veritas was like in between doing his own podcast and other stuff. SlushPuppy wasn't playing TARKOV at the time, and I was just like, I don't know, doing my thing as well.
You're in Europe,
charity.
right?
Yeah, and so then it just came down to like, everyone's kind of so busy. It's just we were only doing it sporadically anyway, because in all seriousness, right? If we spoke about anything that wasn't what the general population of the community liked, we were like assholes. And it was just a constant bombardment. Like,
really?
We had a podcast. This is no word of a lie. We had a podcast where we just said, what is some random funny shit that you'd like to see in TARKOV? And we were just talking about stupid random ideas. Like, there was none of them we were serious about. It wasn't like, we're like, oh, what if there was a Battle Royale? What if there was like all these random things? And people were like, Pestily went to Battle Royale. And there's like, SlushPuppy fucking says you should be able to power slide and then shoot yourself up into the air. And it's just like, oh my God. What team deathmatch mode?
Yeah, I got death threats on Twitter because of that.
What?
Well, I've multiple times I've suggested changes to the game, and people have told me that they want to murder me on Twitter. Like, they'll DM me. It's like, all right.
Oh my God.
Why would you have the fucking hubris and the arrogance to suggest anything at all to anybody about anything, let alone their actual fucking child, which is from TARKOV. Don't you touch my child, stranger man.
Well, the worst one was that when I said they should take away the flea market, or like make changes to the flea market. The best bit about it was that when they like the most recent patches, they've pretty much done all of the changes that I suggested, and then everyone's like, "Oh, it's great!" And I'm like, "Fucking yeah, that's what I said."
2 years ago, you wanted to kill me about it. Yeah.
I agreed with you the whole time.
Slush has been saying that for so long it happens, and he's like, hello?
Yeah.
And all the people that sent you those death threats are gonna pretend as if that they thought that those ideas were great all along.
Yeah. No, they came up with them.
Yeah.
Crazy. And so, and Pest, I just saw you did a video with your grandma yesterday.
Yeah, I won't be publishing it publicly. At least I don't plan to. I actually honestly think everyone should do this. Like, if you've got a grandparent still alive, just you don't have to record it. Just go. Can you just tell me about your whole life, from start to finish? And like, my nana was like, born before World War II. They had kerosene as their way of lighting their house. Like, there was no electricity at all. The whole city. Like, that's just something we couldn't fathom these days. And just to have a conversation about that stuff, it's just humbling, I guess, is the word. It's just nice.
Yeah. My dad's.
Fiber?
Did they have fiber?
She didn't have fiber internet.
No, that was in the oats, in the wheat.
I actually found that from my great-grandfather. I was going through, after my dad passed, I had a whole bunch of his boxes of documents, and I actually found like 2 huge stacks of paper where my great-grandfather had written out his whole life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I started reading it, and I was just blown away. Yeah, it was cool.
Wasn't it you that had like the piece of paper no, that was Veritas, had the piece of paper that was like 400 meters long from your uncle that was your family tree and stuff? Like,
yeah,
that stuff really interests me.
My great uncle passed away. He was like 85, passed away sometime within the last year. God, time flies. I don't even know what month it was. But he did 2 of his passions were collecting stamps and going through and filling out the family tree. He'd go back all the way to the Azores, where pretty much everybody in my family was from, the Azores in Portugal, and look through like old handwritten church booklets of like signing in and stuff to like, and tax documents from I think it went all the way back to 1400, 1300s. I mean, we're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. I'm related to like some King Egica or something, Egica. He was like a Visigoth king that apparently was like a real bad guy. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna leave it at he was real
That's what happened to
bad guy.
We did that as well, and some of the ones that I read about, like their occupations, I was like, that is fucked up, like really bad. We traced ours back to a place called Tongue in Scotland, and we have a castle there named after our family, and we ruled this castle. I've seen it. It's like a shed. It's not a castle.
Shackles and bones.
Yeah, but past that, it was like Norsemen that basically settled there. So there's no real like documentation of that. They were just there one day, changed their name to something Scottish, and we're just like, this is where we live.
Yeah. Shut up. This looks nice. Get in.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I know.
All the women were like, hey, these guys actually shower. Let's hang out with them instead.
And Veritas, I'm glad you're able to join us as well. And you've been busy with Trackmania, which seems like that's right up your avenue with all the technicality and the diving right into it.
Yeah, I think I've finally like transitioned into actually just calling myself like variety, just making variety content. I don't know, something like a switch flipped in like the last 4 months where like I cannot play Tarkov 50 hours a week, anymore after 4 years of doing it. And the hardest part about when I was playing Tarkov and I was, so into it was just that when it was at its worst and I was frustrated, I was like, there's nothing else to play. Like there's nothing, everything I tried, it wasn't good. And then I think one day after watching a couple of YouTube videos, I tried out Trackmania. I was like, yeah, this is kind of fun and chill and addicting. And then all of a sudden, after a few hours of, a few months of doing that, I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to play this other game someone was talking about. And now I'm just like enjoying playing video games again for the first time in a long time. And it's just been really, really nice.
Well, it's funny you say variety streamer. You're the one that pointed me over to Spinachy, the variety streamer, and she on the pod, she goes, "I'm done. I broke up with Tarkov. He's my ex-boyfriend. I don't even pick up when he calls anymore." So now that's Veritas, the variety streamer.
Yeah, so I finally just ripped off the Band-Aid and was just like, screw it. I'm just gonna. I'm as a content creator fortunate enough to not need or care about like maximizing the numbers, and I don't have a kid. I'm not like the sole breadwinner of my family, so I can just, like I said, rip off the Band-Aid and not quite start fresh, but for all intents and purposes, do that. So cool. It's been good for the mental too. So
excellent. And Slush, thank you for joining us. And before we started recording this, you were telling me that you were doing a kangaroo hunting trip.
Yeah, next weekend going hunting all
Look at Veritas. He's like, what?
Like it's delicious. It's like venison, but yeah, they're like tiny dinosaurs because they look like little furry velociraptors.
They look like big humans. What do you mean?
Nah, not the mega ones. I can't be bothered killing one of those. Yeah, they're not gonna skin it. It's the whole thing. They're huge. They weigh like 85 kilos. I'm not carrying that. A lot of effort.
85 kilograms.
It's 35 Budweiser per freedom eagle.
Holy shit! 190 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
It's like a deer.
They get massive. Yeah.
Fuck me, dude.
They look hella jacked as well. Like they.
You've seen the clip of the guy who like punches one in the face, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like it had his dog in a chokehold, and the thing just stands up. It literally looks like a square off between two drunk dudes outside of a bar.
Yeah, pretty much. So they when they get attacked by dogs, they drag them into the water and hold their heads underwater.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're real fucked up.
Oh my gosh.
So how do you hunt them though? Because like out in America they do deer, right? So you got the guys that like get all dressed up, they're covered in deer urine, and they're sitting up in a hut for 4 hours.
4 hours.
Like
Man.
so, how do you hunt kangaroo?
We don't do it the American way. That's way too much effort. So we just drive around in the car and shoot out the window. It's way easier.
I was gonna say, all you need to do, like, you literally just drive up and go, "Hey, there's some roos."
Yeah, I remember killing one once, and I drove up, and I was in the driver's seat, and I pulled up like next to it, like it was a guy with a squeegee at the fucking light, and I just held the gun out the window one-handed and just shot it in the face. Mate, they're very, very easy to hunt.
Yeah, it's not really hunting. It's more like
Let's talk about hunting.
more like massacres.
Did you mumble something in Latin and then put coins over its eyes?
Yeah. Give it the in nomine Pace et Filii Spiritus Sancte. Yeah.
That's a gangland assassination that you just described.
Oh no!
Hey, you gotta. That's how you hunt them. It's weird.
Why? I just picture Slush with like 2 revolvers.
Yeah.
It's like literally the game hunt showdown. He's just out there with the kangaroos.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out.
Yeah. G18's out the window, just wasting them. Yeah. At one place I go to, you can do it without even getting up off the porch. You just sit on the porch, and then they walk in near the fire, and you just shoot them while you're sitting there. They're pretty stupid.
It's not hunting. It's really not hunting.
It's not. It's like the easiest thing ever.
It is pest control.
And we don't go camping or anything. Like my mate has a lake house, as they call it in America, a shack in Australia, and it's like it's a 2-story building, and up the top he has like a balcony with a open fire on it, and we just shoot them from undercover. So we're sitting in the next to the fire essentially, and underneath he has a setup that throws clay targets out as well, and so we can do clay target shooting from the balcony as well without having to get wet. So, it's It's
How's that steak
glamping.
looking? Oh,
It's
wait, hold up. I got him. Let's go.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
Wow. All right. I don't know how Sigma you're going to top that one, but you had your trip from Ohio and your truck broke down.
Yeah, no, there's really no topping that at this point.
Is there much to shoot down there? It's just like, got some rednecks. We got some.
Oh, man.
Any gators?
Oh.
Haters.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Amish. You know, those people are definitely tough. That's really all I have to report. Oh, and we did go to no, we didn't hunt the Amish. We did go to Washington D.C.
That'd be really fucking easy, by the way. It's fine.
You don't have to get up off.
Oh, you
can
trying
just
to tell me
drive up
they like
next to 'em.
kangaroos?
Yeah. They like cruise around on the highway in horse and buggy.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I wouldn't be worried I was going to
I've
hit
seen
one.
some of them
Uh-huh.
drift those.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Have you seen
Crazy.
that? That clip
Yeah.
with the Amish drift?
Oh man,
Oh my god.
such a crazy way of life.
Sorry, Sigma. We really.
No, I'm still gonna be stuck on this kangaroo thing for a while, so it's good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, we go up to Canada to visit our family. We drive through upstate New York and there's Amish there. We were driving through a small little town and it was a chiropractor, a couple of cars, and a horse and buggy parked outside of it. It was just like, it's just a weird thing to see.
Yeah. They don't like going to the doctor that often. Well, different types of them, but most
Yeah.
of them go to chiropractors.
Yep.
Oh.
Crazy. Now how long did
Gotta
you
get
guys
the
got
humans
stranded?
checked.
Yeah, we got stranded. So I always joke like I don't half-ass anything, I whole-ass everything, and my truck does the same. Like she can't just break down normally, right? Just
Oh, no.
break down to like $5,200 later in 8 days worth of work, you know? So yeah, we got stuck in Fredericksburg, Pennsylvania, or Virginia for like 8 days, but it was cool. We went and saw like Williamsburg and a bunch of history stuff, so just made the best of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Like
Ghost,
that
you're
with
coming to America for a visit?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna come visit America.
Nice. Is
Yeah,
it going to be your first
Baddie
time
and-
or you've been here before?
First time.
Oh,
First
wow.
time.
Where are you going to go visit
Yeah.
first?
Takes.
Did you say
Texas.
Texas?
Texas.
Oh my god.
Texas.
Oh,
Yeah, you'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Why do we remake the movie Coming to America? Some dude from
Yep.
Africa coming across to America.
Yeah. I got the San Antonio boys gonna take me around and shoot some gun.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
Baddie and them. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come over and visit.
Oh hell yeah.
Go
You
shoot.
tell me when that happens. I want to join.
Oh hell. Yeah.
I've got a little thing I'm organising for after TwitchCon. I'm going to go over to Texas, and then the aim is to shoot every gun in Tarkov. They reckon they can get every gun except for like 2.
Nice.
Which two?
What's the
Ash
VAL?
12 and the Val.
yeah.
But you know,
No,
someone has the Val.
Oh, we get.
Oh, there's
I
a
know.
there's an
Get you the roll.
American company that's making vows now. Well,
Shit,
they're talking
really?
about it. Yeah.
I know someone who I believe has one.
Yeah. Well, AK Brandon has one.
Yeah, Brandon
He's got
has
one that
yeah.
he had to bring in that was sewn, cut in half, and he re-glued that thing back together. Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
I mean,
You're
Yeah.
gonna need to.
I would love to see the
fucking
factory.
Go back to the beginning and explain what you cut an AK
He had to
and
bring.
then sewed it
No.
back together.
Obviously, he didn't sew it back together, but he brought it in pieces because he had to
Okay.
because of
Because
law.
It's integrally suppressed, so you'd have to get the NFA
Oh,
on the
that's right.
suppressor and stuff.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
welded it back
Brandon has
together
some
and then
really
welded
cool
up.
stuff though.
Yeah.
Brandon has amazing guns. He's
I
got
want to
like
try.
yeah,
See the
automatic
factory.
lots of automatic stuff. Very cool.
Awesome. All right. So you guys are here, the team. Who started it? Where did it come from?
It was me, Slush, and Ghostfreak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys said we should just we made that chat and we're like, hey, I think SlushPuppy introduced me to Pestily and we just made a chat and then it just I don't know who popped it first.
Anton
I
made
think
the
it was-
name up. We brought Anton
but
in a
that
little
was-
bit longer.
No,
Yeah,
I
a
made
little
the
bit
name up.
after.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was Slush, I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I
the
said,
whole purpose
yeah.
was
Let's just call it the team because we're too lazy
Yeah.
to come up with anything else. We couldn't think of anything else.
That is exactly it. It was like,
Yeah.
we get called the boys, this, that.
Yeah.
Can't even remember.
the idea
names.
was purely we could just share our knowledge about streaming, content creation. It wasn't about like boosting or anything like that. And more just also for the fact that like if one of us took a week off for whatever reason, say, you family member passes away or whatever, then we've got each other's backs. So then it's like, hey, because when you're lower numbers and you're first starting out, it was like, oh, if you go from taking a week off and you're on like 40 concurrent, you probably drop down to like 25 and you'd be like, fuck, everything's horrible. So we'd just be like, give a few hosts, just get you back on your feet again. That was just like a safety net.
Yeah.
But we just ended up becoming mates and just doing a lot of banter.
Yeah. And now when did, Veritas and what was the roadmap and what made you pick them versus somebody else?
Anton was the first one out of like the fourth person. Yeah. And it was just because we all kind of like, I used to talk to Anton a lot. He kind of just, I don't say, he didn't go off the rails.
Anton a lot?
Yeah, I used to. Like I actually used to talk to him like every day.
You used to. Yeah.
But he kind of just went off on his own like thing.
Yeah.
So
busy trading Bitcoin.
and just ranting on Twitter about something that no one knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So we brought Anton in and then we just did our thing. It was just that same kind of cycle. And then we saw Veritas one day playing the guitar and we all just like said,
we like this guy.
We like this
good.
Guy.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Yeah. I think that was the biggest thing. He set Veritas pretty much set everybody else apart. It's like Anton. Anton was the ammo guy. We always know him as the ammo guy and the funny guy. And we just saw Veritas and, kind of just spoke about it. And, one thing led to another, shoot a little bit of message back and forth. And, Veritas was like, hell yeah, I'll join him. Like, we got him. Secured the package. Yeah. We can make the biggest group.
If I remember rightly, you just joined a team with Spinachi, yeah? And then it was like, you felt really bad because it was like, hey, I joined you, but now I'm going to leave you because someone else wants this.
I never knew that story. So you were on a different team then, and you traded.
He jumped ship.
Oh.
We were bigger and better. We weren't even the biggest or like, we just these guys that showed up pretty much.
So there was like, back when this was all happening, this is like 2018. It was like Blacksite. I think it was Blacksite they were called.
Blacksite.
They were like this giant team of like all the biggest streamers at the time. It was like Cotton and Clean, Chicken Prism, Willerz was in there, Tweak. Fucking everyone was in there.
Wow, everybody. All the big boys. Yeah.
And
the other team was the Marksmen, which was
Deadly Slob,
and
Markstrom.
Was Deadly Markstrom Cotton, right?
Yeah,
Cotton moved there after Blacksite.
Blacksite went.
Dissolved,
Oh.
Yeah.
Then they ended up having Monster Deface, Pep, and Katie.
I think Monster and Pep and Katie have been in for ages. Cotton was the last one to join, yeah.
But we never really saw us as like competing against other people. It was just like we were just a bunch of
our own group.
Yeah, just to share stuff. And then we started getting messages all the time. Can we join the team? Can I join the team? And we're like, we don't do anything special, guys. It's not like we're boosting each other, like or anything like that. We're just guys that like to hang out with each other and that. And then we literally got so many messages at one point, and we're like, we wouldn't want any of these people. If we're gonna have anyone, we'd have someone like Sigma. And that's exactly how the conversation went.
Yeah.
Because we all just used to talk to Sigma. It was like she was a friend, and we would just talk to Sigma. Like all of us at different points would just converse with Sigma, and then it was like, well, let's just get Sigma in, and she said yes. So
hell yeah,
and that was our diversity tick. Yeah. Go from 4 white dudes and a person we don't know everybody looks like to 4 white dudes and a chick.
Yeah. That's all I heard after I joined was, well, they needed a girl, so they had to pick somebody.
Yeah, you're an equality hire.
There was so many girls that wanted to join, and we just never spoke to them really. We never really like communicated a lot with them, even though we could, but no. A lot of people wanted to join for the sole reason that they thought that we're going to get big or huge or get support from the team. But the team wasn't created for that whole purpose. It was just buddies, like Hey, Slush, I'm getting off, dude. Do you want this host? Okay, yeah. There you go. No one else is on.
It was
and
more
that's
just
how
like
it
because we were
went.
just friends though. Because like we used
Yeah.
to, like me and Ghost and Pest used to host each other all the time when we first started. Like this is when we had like 20 viewers a stream,
20,
and we just
30,
do it because we were friends. And then I'm still a Veritas, and I was like, this dude shreds on guitar, and he's really good at Tarkov. And so I just started hosting him and hanging out in his stream. And then I was like, you should just join our team. And that was like it was just friends. So
Yeah, part of what we wanted to do, I think, was there were so many. I would say 98% of the teams on Twitch had 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 300 people in them. And it was kind
Oh
of
my
like,
god.
so that kind of goes back to Ash, Spinachy was kind of like, we had become friends. And she had like given me tons of advice. And she was like, listen, if you want to, join this stream team, we can support each other. We'll like host each other if we get a chance. And I didn't know anybody else. There was like 100 people. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm sure it can't hurt. And then, when the whole opportunity with the team came through, the whole idea of just having like a smaller group where you actually know everybody, where there's actually like relationships. I think that was a big part of the draw. So that was
Veritas
also
and I
part
used
of.
to date, just so you know.
I made the joke earlier that when people were like, "Where's is Pest coming?" I was like, "Oh no, he when I got out of bed, he was still in bed. I think he's running a few minutes late." It took everybody a few to get that one.
It's Sunday morning.
So,
it's early for us.
Yeah, that was one of those things where like we wanted. And I say we, I'm sure you guys had established this before I had joined, but didn't want to just invite everybody and their mother, didn't want to just be this massive thing. So for a long time, we were struggling to figure out, do we want to add another person? There were all these people that were interested, and some of them were larger
Massive.
sized. And it was kind of like, do we really want to add more people? Because you kind of tend to like dilute. The more you add, the more I think you dilute the relationships and everything. Dilute is a strong word, but
chemistry.
But yeah, so there was a period of time where we're like, we're done. This is it. And then I think at one point we were. I remember the conversations around considering, do we really want to maybe add one more? Do we want to add one more? Just because there were so many good folks, and especially when we used to do the podcasts, it's impossible when you have 5 people, 6 people to get
6,
everybody.
7,
It's a miracle you got us.
I don't know how this happened. I really, like
well, you didn't get Anton.
No,
and
well,
we never managed to do it.
But it was funny because I reached out to try to cut you off, Veritas, just to give you how this came. Like this was going to be my 50th episode special. I'm on 35 right now. It's like I had no idea this was going to happen so quickly. So when this gets released, it's just going to be, let's pretend this is my 50th episode because nothing's going to top this one.
Nah, don't say that. It can always get better.
Yeah. So
always.
Sorry, Veritas.
We could always come back for the 50th and have Anton.
Hey, look, if I don't have to organize it, I'm happy. All right.
Yeah.
To be honest, as another digression, this actually gets me a little bit more interested in like just doing this regularly, especially because I am not so emotionally invested in Tarkov. So I
think
give
that was
less
our problem.
fucks.
Yeah.
Our main problem was that it was always about Tarkov, and if we didn't talk about Tarkov, people would just they would just complain, and there was nothing else to say. There was, there was just nothing else to say about Tarkov. It's like, what's Nikita working on? The same shit he was working on before. Are they going to do something about cheaters? We've already talked about that. Like it was always, you can't have a podcast about new content coming out when there at the time wasn't much content coming out, and most people weren't seeing like what was going to happen in the future, and we didn't see it. So like, what else are we going to talk about? Like, we can't just be like, oh, Nikita told us secretly that there's going to be a patch next week. Like, we can't talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
the hardest thing was
if
if we had guests as well, like this was one of the things that I'm not trying to down talk guests that were on, but the guests were really excited to talk about Tarkov, and there was times that like we would just want to talk about a movie that just came out. You know, like they'd be like, "Oh, the new Avengers came out," you know, and they'd be like, "Oh, anyway, about Tarkov," and I would just be like, "Oh man, like this is the one time every 2 weeks or whenever I'm hanging out and talking with these guys, and we just talked about a movie, and then it'd be like we're back on Tarkov." And to me, like for the podcast side of things, I think that's where I started to feel like when it was a bit of a chore, I didn't want to do it anymore.
Once you
Yes,
live
I
and
think
breathe
it's
it
the
every day, you
thing.
don't want to talk about it. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to. Like,
We could go 2
it's
hours right now and not talk about it, and I wouldn't even
Yeah.
be
Oh,
phased.
yeah.
Like
It's
We could-
it's one of
okay.
the better jobs in the world, streaming. But at the end of the day, once you do it for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 5 years, it's a job. And I don't go to my wife and be like, "Hey, you want to talk about the new SR2M that's coming into town?" I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna go out there and talk about something completely different. Like I don't log off and go play Tarkov. Like it's my job. So I don't want to spend this free time that I have hanging out with my mates discussing it. Like I don't do
There's a
that
big-
with my IRL mates.
There's a big distinction too between we could sit and banter and debate and disagree, and there's a different dynamic when you're essentially chilling with your friends, having a drink, and yelling at each other, being like, "You're fucking wrong," you know, like whatever. And then when you have 5,000 people all watching that just don't get it, they just don't understand the dynamic, that then it becomes a, wow, this guy is an asshole, wow, this guy is yelling at this guy,
Stupid.
and they must hate each other, and they
Yeah.
must be, you know, like all of that
Yeah.
stuff. It was
No, they're not just
so.
I mean,
all the
stupid take.
drama. Yep,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
drama that came from it. People are like, oh, well, you know, Ghost doesn't like Sig, or Pest doesn't like V, or Slush looked at Ghost
Yeah.
funny about this, and it was like,
Yeah.
holy shit, where did that come from? We're all
Last-
cool with each other.
Last
Yeah.
night I came across I was searching for something because I wanted to reference an old video, and I came across the Reddit post that was like, wow, like what's the deal with Pestily and Veritas? Like why do they hate each
Fucking
other
hate
so
each
much? And
other.
this was like 2 months after I had been to join the team, and we had
Yeah.
been fucking memeing, and there was like
You guys pulled that
hundreds of
long
people that
though.
were, oh my god,
That was for
totally
a year.
believed
You
it.
guys just played it so well, and people just like, did you see it? Did you see it? They hate each other.
Yeah.
They're
I
gonna
was probably a
break
bit
up.
too good at it though. There was a little.
Yeah,
I think that's what people
it's
liked it, though.
just they loved it, and it's the
Because you just
drama
ran with
aspect
it,
of
and
it.
the people liked it. Like you could probably just make like a reality show of us just like being fuckheads to each other, and people would be like, "Hell yeah!"
Do you
Those
guys
clip wars
remember?
back and forth. It was
Yeah.
like Pestily just talked shit, and then I'd watch the clip on stream and he'd be like, "Wow, what a fucking asshole!" And then they would clip it and go back to his stream, and it was
I
like
just
back
go
and
back
forth.
and forth, back and forth.
Remember that time we got in your Discord, Veritas, me and Pest, and then just critiqued every play you made in Tarkov for like 2 hours?
Nope.
It was like just me and Pest just being like, "Oh, he shouldn't have peeked that. That was a rookie move. Like he's got the wrong kind of ammo for this gun. Like he should be using an M61." Like,
Sounds par for the course.
yeah. It
I
was funny.
think the biggest thing that changed for me is the last few podcasts we had with Nikita, where he would come in, and this was before the stream would start, the podcast would start, and we had like 20 minutes to talk to Nikita about just anything. And the majority of time, he never wanted to talk about Tarkov really. He would talk about car, or he would talk about everything else, and pretty much just tell us, or tell like Pest, let's not talk about the cheaters or the servers, all this. Can we just get to, the fun stuff? Because obviously it's going to be the same answer soon,
Chill.
TM. Or, yeah, just chill. Can we just not
Yeah.
talk about the same old shit every single time people always ask? And that's where it kind of got to me, where I'm like, yeah, that's true. It's the same thing over and over, and it just sucks, Nikita had a few podcasts where they weren't even talking about Tarkov. They were just talking about guns, and they had the guns podcast with Clean and
Yeah.
and Botkin and everybody, and that was kind of like, yeah, that's what he wanted. People need to see kind of like how Nikita is off Tarkov, and he's amazing with the music he does and the guns and the cars he loves, and there's a whole lot of other things about it rather than just Tarkov.
People don't see him as a person. They just
Right.
want to be bastards and
Yeah.
imagine him to be this faceless entity that is ruining their life on the daily while they try and play a game.
That applies to every content creator too. Like on the internet, people just don't see other people as human beings.
Nope.
Yeah. You're just numbers, bro.
Yeah, and since I started, doing these podcasts and whatnot back in the fall, really seeing on Twitter, there is a lot of emotional, mental fatigue that you guys deal with that people don't realize. It's just not playing games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of burnout. It's a lot of roller coaster. And like the guys were talking about earlier, it's really nice to have a small group of people that completely get what you're saying. At any time, you can just write them or write in our group chat and say, yeah, this and this is happening. And you've got a ton of people that already understand you.
Yeah, and I had Deadly on a while ago, and he was talking about the Marksmen, and it was basically a small group of people that when they're frustrated, they can vent to somebody else who knows what they're coming from. Not a spouse has no idea, the struggles or the things that you guys got to deal with. So by having a small team, you guys probably were able to vent and just like, oh my God, this is so stupid and things like that.
That's exactly what
pretty much what our group chat was.
Yeah, it was the drinking group. We're just like, oh, this and this and oh. Sorry guys, I just needed to vent. That's why we're here, brother.
Yeah. Just like a weekly post of, God damn it, if I die to another Val, I'm gonna fucking punch my monitor.
We need to nerf the Mosin. That's the game plan this year. Pestily, get LPS.
That was so funny.
There's still people
that was
post about that. But all I wanted was one of the rounds to get more expensive, and I'm apparently the downfall of the fucking whole Mosin.
Even though that was even said before the podcast, like talking to Nikita, you were just like, yeah, this needs to go up. And he's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it does need to go up. Because people think it's as easy as like, Nikita, we need to change this. And he goes, okay, yes. No, you need to kind of explain, this is what's happening when we play. We're level 1, we can do this. And then we don't need any other round. And that's kind of how it goes. You need to kind of explain to Nikita this and this and this and this. It's not as simple as, remove labs cards and then he does it. No.
It's like the guys touched on earlier. Like people don't really understand the grand scheme of like how Tarkov's progressed. So, for example, they had put in the flea market, then they put all these restrictions to the point now where the flea market is pretty much useless. The same with ammunition. Ammunition every round in the game used to be like under 50 rubles. Like, and then the best rounds would be like 100 rubles. Like 150 was like really expensive.
And
it got to the point
like $2 a bullet, and it was like people were rioting.
Yeah, I remember buying like 995 at one stage. I brought 20,000 rounds. So I was like, I'm gonna charge people with M4s today a lot, and so I just brought 20,000 995 rounds. Like, yeah, that'll do.
And that was kind of like how the game was. Like everything was super cheap, and then they started making stuff slightly more expensive. And my argument with the Mosin thing was the LPS GZH was one-tapping people, right? And it was just like, this round is 173 rubles a round. You got your other best rounds in the game that are like, at that stage, 500 rubles a round. And I'm like, double the price. And oh my God. And
and you get it in level 1. You don't need any other.
And you can get it at level 1. Yeah. I was like, Mosin.
GG.
And when the Mosin came to the game was fucking stupid. I don't care what anyone says. Mosin came to the game. All you needed was a Mosin LPS GZH round, which was level 1. Mosin was level 1, and you could one tap anyone. It was just like,
oh yeah, that's all I used. I love the Mosin.
They solved hatchlings for like a month at least because they were like, oh, I can spend nothing and actually have a chance at taking people down as opposed to spending nothing and risking nothing. And it was like, oh, I can get a guy with a.
And that's where you made Mosin Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mosin Man.
And nobody gets the words right. To this day, nobody gets the words.
Listen, I'm there for the tune and for Mosin Man. I don't give a fuck about the rest. I'm sorry. It's catchy. I love you. I love you.
That was a horrible time, though. I hated that time.
Man.
I was like, what's the point of putting on any gear? I don't even care anymore. It was literally like, if you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah.
I actually feel my favorite time in Tarkov was back in like 0.4 days, 0.5 days. Yeah. It was like, it reminded me of Half-Life, and it was very fast paced. we're not going to talk too much about this fucking shit,
No,
but
yeah,
the audio, it was a totally different audio system. I don't know what it was, but you could literally hear someone, doesn't matter how far through the map or through how many walls, it was just like a line of, like not even line of sight, it was a direct line audio. So you could be at the third floor of factory and you could hear someone running around at forklift. And you're like, sweet, there's a guy over at forklift. I'll go over there and kill him. So that was like in my days of Half-Life, that's what it was like. Or Quake, or Unreal Tournament, those days.
Was it like the
audio today
volumetric
without occlusion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Without
occlusion, like the occlusion is like it's good. Occlusion is really awesome, and it makes game sound really good, but not when it's done improperly. And I think like them turning away from Steam audio is not an issue with Steam audio. Like that's an issue with their engineers not being able to get it running with the probably more likely the super old version of Unity that you're using because it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
kind of depressing they're not going to use it because it is so good. Like you look at what is it? Sandstorm and Hunt Showdown. That's so
Yeah,
amazing.
Hunt is the
And
game
they
that
use-
everybody says has
yeah.
got the best fucking audio in the business, and it's
And they use Steam audio.
Steam audio.
I'm sad that they were moving away from that. Hopefully they come up with something good.
I think they'll come
Oh.
back to it though, wouldn't they?
No, Nikita.
No?
Either
Stage.
I talked to Nikita. He either wants to. They're still deciding whether or not they are going to write everything from scratch on their own, or try to find an alternative solution. Steam
Yeah.
Audio is kind of the de facto like standard out of the box. I think it's even open source.
It is. Yep.
But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Soon,
Because I mean, the
DM.
verticality of Streets is gonna be the whole. There's so many levels in Streets.
be
and
rough.
if you have, oh no, don't.
No, there's only one level, and it's the level you're on, and nothing
Exactly.
else exists.
Okay. Then I don't need to worry about it. I just need to look at the stairwell. That's it.
At this stage, they should
There's-
probably just go back to something more simplistic, like a footstep produces a footstep sound and it reaches a 3 meter
Yep.
fucking circle around you. If you're in that 3 meter circle, you hear it, you know?
Imagine
That'd
if they
be-
just deleted their occlusion that they implemented. It's not Unity and it's not Steam Audio. It's their occlusion. If they just removed the barriers, you could hear that somebody is in the stairwell and they're in that direction, and it's that
You wouldn't
loud.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
That
the
would
argument
also
was
work.
that no one liked the fact that you could hear through the floors of Interchange. That's when they started it. It was when Interchange came in and someone was on the ground floor of Interchange and they could hear someone in the basement. And they're like, "I shouldn't be able to hear through these 3 feet of concrete." I was like, "No
Yeah.
shit, shouldn't be able to." But the alternative now is everyone hates the sound.
Yeah. I'd rather be able to hear too much than not be able to hear anything. Like when you're right next to a guy and he's running and you can't hear his footsteps at all, it's like, what have they clearly there's some sort of bug happening with the occlusion and it's fucking it up. That's fine. I'd rather if they just took the occlusion out completely and just ran with a more simplified system. As long as it works.
The one place that's the best, and I think I briefly showed it in that super long audio video. Everybody talks about dorms or resort as like being the worst. The best example that's the most busted ever. There's the building that's like the little 2-story shack on reserve by the scav exfil, where like those trucks are, the little checkpoint area. If you go into that building and you go up the stairs, there's a barrel. Stand on the barrel and then look down onto the landing. It's literally like right directly in front of you. If somebody is on the landing, like 5 feet line of sight, they jump up and down, literally no audio whatsoever. And that's the most egregious example where it's like, but if you prone on the barrel, you hear them clear as day. It's like the most obvious but worst example.
We were talking about
happened to me
that
yesterday.
Like,
Sorry. That it happened to me yesterday on reserve. I was in the medical building trying to help somebody get their medical documents, and we kept hearing stuff, and I was like, what the hell is that? And somebody on my team said, "Oh, that's underground. You can hear them in here." And I was like, "Excuse me?" And he was like, "Yeah, on the second floor in this section, you can hear everybody underground." And I was like, what? So I took a clip of it and obviously sending it in, but yeah, it was, and just so nonchalant too. I was like, wait, this is like a common thing everybody knows about? And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's,
Yeah, it's
okay.
3
the
years.
laying down thing is a really common thing. Like if you're on the third floor of dorms or in resort, you lay down into the ground, part of your model goes through the floor, and so it goes into the occlusion box for the floor underneath, and then you can hear people on the floor underneath.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why.
so the occlusion layer is a bit above the floor, so your model, your model is in the next zone. So yeah, you can hear it clear as day. All of this is in the audio video. It's only 3 hours. Just take a day off of work and watch it.
Exactly.
Now back to the team discussion just for a minute.
Fuck the team. Let's talk about.
Let's complain about Tarkov.
Well, we'll get to Tarkov.
See, this is why we stopped doing podcasts.
Just for the team discussion for a quick second, you guys started the team when you were at this level. Now you guys have you're doing careers with it. Really, and you're I think Pest said earlier, it's more friends and your peers at this point. The team.
No,
is
I
really...
hate him at this point. Sorry.
But like you were saying, the team going forward, just get together and shoot the shit. But for people who are just starting out, would you recommend people who are just by themselves get together with a group of people and just try to build something like that? What you guys have developed and grown.
100%.
Yeah.
Find a Pestily.
Not just find a Pestily, but I mean, it's the same.
Find a guy that's going to get really famous, and then you can just ride his coattails. It's sick.
And just get his viewers a little bit at a time. Just I know you, know name.
I still owe you money for those hosts as well, by the way.
Pest. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, you should find people of like-mindedness and similar size and work together. I've heard this from so many people, including Mr. Beast. He goes, when he started out, he had a few other people that were really keen on YouTube, and they would. The best way to explain it was, why try and learn every mistake yourself when 5 people can all learn mistakes, share those mistakes with each other, so then no one does those same mistakes, and then you're learning mistakes 5 times faster. And I feel like we did a lot of that too. Like, hey, this was stupid, don't do this, or yeah, this worked, do this, and it might have only been like subtle stuff, but it just. Or you just got a question like, hey, I don't understand, but my numbers dropped 30 viewers at this point for some random fucking reason. Oh, that's someone's auto host coming off or some stupid shit like that. Yeah, and you just kind of learn, instead of you spending an hour figuring out why the fuck my viewers dropped. It was just.
And nobody to talk to about it. With knowledge. Then
I think that was the main thing though, was just shooting the shit over content and strategy and stuff like that. All of us know exactly how to make a extremely successful channel now. Whether we actually want to put in the effort and the 50 hours a day it takes to actually do that is a different question. But all of us understand absolutely everything it takes now, just from learning off each other. So it's a good thing to have. You should definitely do it. And I mean, if you're not talking to people that are of a similar size to you, say you're starting out streaming and you're not hanging out meeting people that are doing the same thing, then you're probably
in the void.
You're not really part of the community that you're trying to be a part of. So, and that's the thing. Twitch is a community. If you want to be a part of it, you have to be a part of it in more ways than just creating content. You have to talk to the people. You should want to be friends with other streamers,
Yeah, the lack of networking is mind-boggling when people come to me and they're like, I'm just not growing, or this isn't happening, and you go back and look and you're like, wow, you're never in anybody else's stream, you're never networking, you're never supporting others, you're never you got to build that little community, not just for your channel but for yourself too, out in the streaming world with other streamers.
It's because a lot of content creators are super, to be honest, it's a lot of content creators are super either afraid of or toxic towards the idea of leeching. If this person comes in and they're a streamer and they come and say hello, what are their ulterior motives? There's all of that. There's so many different aspects of it. There's all of that. And then I remember back when I was growing, this is something that I never wanted to do because it always annoyed me. And it was a little bit more overt and more obvious, where people would show up and they would say, hey man, I'm just starting my stream in a few minutes. I wanted to come say hello. I'll, see you later. And every day it was that one message. Hey, just starting my stream in 5 minutes. Hope you have a great one, man. Peace out. Gonna go start the stream.
I know one person in particular that did it.
There was one person that did that all the time.
There was
we used
one
to talk
person
about it. And he used to do it to all of our streams. And the second
he would do
it
it in a
happened
row.
in the team chat. Yeah,
we would do it in a fucking row. He would go,
daily message from so and so.
He was here. He's gone now. But, I mean, where is he now? Like, where are they now? They're not there. They stole 20 viewer Andy or 30 viewer Andy because it's just like, fuck.
There's a fine line between like leeching and doing that stuff. I think just being a good person in general actually gets you past that kind of shit. The one thing that I really agree with Veritas is like people are afraid of either leeching or they're going to lose their viewers to someone else. I always just went with this mentality, and this is a really fucking arrogant mentality, but if you're confident in your content, people are going to fucking come to you. Yeah. Right? Like if I go, hey guys, you should definitely check out Veritas. They're not going to just be like, oh, fuck Pestily, I'm out of here. They're still fucking good.
Go to the guitar, man.
What a loser.
Fuck's Mike. Let's go.
If my confidence fucking good, then people will just come out and hang it here, but then they'll check out Veritas another time. And they might, like, some people might slowly drift away. But if they're still on the platform, they'll come back from time to time.
The cross-pollination is perfect, though, because if you, like all of us, had shared viewers like in the early days, it's not about like whether that viewer is 100% there all the time. If you are sharing viewers and then that viewer says, oh, he's mates with Pest, I'm going to watch him when Pest is not on, and then he watches me a few times and then he goes, I'm going to sub to you. He may not watch me all the time, but that's helping me pay the bills and helping me keep the dream alive. So that's perfect. 100% cross-pollinated, and then you end up doing that with all your mates and not just people in the team, the other streamers that I play with and hosts and things like that. That shit is fantastic for growth. You need to be doing that. But you can't be just like, oh, I want to just hang out with Dr. Lupo and just get some of his fucking hosts and viewers or something like that. Like, it's not going to work. It's
you should never hope for a host or a raid or anything. Like all of my early, I'd say the majority, probably 80+% of the early hosts or raids I got were from other people that I would just hang out while I was at work, watching streams and being cool. And it was months, weeks to months of being a community member of, someone who had 15 viewers or 30 viewers when I was at 5, to then when your name sticks out to them as someone they recognize. Now, these days, when I'm done with my stream, it was in Tarkov at the time. It was much easier because there wasn't 10,000 people in the directory. You could actually like scroll one page or two page and be down to the one viewer, new streamers. But it works now in Trackmania where I'll scroll until I see a name I recognize from my chat for people that have been cool. Bang, host, easy. Like they never asked for anything. It was like, oh, I didn't even know that person streamed. That's really cool. And then I'll follow them, and that's the way it goes. And then there are days where I'll host the same person 5, 6, 7, 8 times. If they're a super cool community member and they're positive and they don't seem like they're trying to. They're not trying to have like this relationship where it's like a quid pro quo kind of thing.
Yeah. I always say the same thing. Like when people ask me about my stream and other streamers, I always just say, I don't like talking about my stream here. Sorry, bro. I don't want to talk about that.
When are you going to be live?
When are you going live? Oh, God.
When are you going live?
Well, I had it happen
I
today.
gave up on streaming.
I had it happen today in Smoke's stream. Someone said, oh, when's your next PZ stream? And I said, I don't like talking about my own stuff in other people's streams. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
And they understand. They know they get that. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
I mean, you learn the trade pretty quick. So, like, you're not going to go there like, hey, dude, my stream was fucking hot today. How was yours? You know? You don't do that.
If
you
you're
kind of pick that
self-aware,
up.
you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
So true. Can I ask Pest to go back to this thing? What he was doing? Thanks.
Muscles. The underside of your arms is so white, man.
Hey, come on, man. I'm more white than him. Goddamn.
I thought you were camping.
My legs. I'm flashbang. I could flashbang all of them.
Hey.
You gotta get outside and go kangaroo hunting.
Oh yeah. Next trip.
Now, looking back over the years, is there any that you can share, you want to share moments where you were, the team was there to help you? Any moments that you're like, holy cow, I got through this because of this or that?
Never once. Fuck them.
Oh, okay.
God.
Oh, okay. I think we all went through a rough patch where it's like the viewers dropped. It's like the January days where it's like you lose 100 viewers, or you lose like 50% of your viewers, and you just don't know why. You didn't change anything. You didn't create drama. You didn't do anything, and you would always just message your buds and like, "Hey, what the hell is what am I doing? Do you want to just look at my last like 10 minutes of my VOD and just tell me, did I do something wrong? Is my mic fucked, or what did I do?" And it's usually,
It's usually
with
the
team.
ViewBot subscription ran out, dude. Just read.
And I always forget.
I think
Probably
the
bounced.
one time that really stood out in my mind, and I don't know if it was before Sigma, it might have been, was when actually it would have been after Sigma. It's when the whole Erotik drama happened,
Before.
and everyone was practically boycotting Tarkov, and
Oh,
we were
we had
sitting
to
there
pick.
like, do we like boycott Tarkov? Because like,
Yeah.
to give it perspective, right? Everyone was like hating on Tarkov because BSG copyright striked Erotik's videos. Erotik said some shit that he probably shouldn't have. That's what caused it, and then it was just like this really nasty situation. And we're just like, we don't give a fuck about any of them. We just want to play Tarkov because we love Tarkov. And like, no one was in the right there. There was some wrong things done from both parties.
Both sides.
But it was just like we were just sitting there, and I think Veritas made a statement. I was just like, what Veritas said, because it was perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
it's perfect,
he actually wrote a really, really good statement about like,
I
like,
think it was on Twitter, yeah.
and we were just like, this is like a really shitty situation where we just love the game and we don't want to be fucking hated on for playing a game that we love. Because it was like, if you play Tarkov, you hate content creators. That was pretty much the message. Like, you
How
hate.
about we don't make it political? How about we just say, like, the stuff that he said was borderline libelous and they probably could have sued him, but they abused the DMCA system. It was like, everybody's fucking wrong. Let's just play the game and everybody shut up, right? Like,
everybody took their shot. So
Yeah, I can't say there's like one time that stands out, but I have spoke to everybody on the team at some point, some more than others, just when you're going through shit, because it feels like home, right? Like, this team feels like home. I can reach out to any of them and I know they don't want anything from me. They always have my best intentions. They're down to listen and they completely understand where I'm coming from. So I can't point to just one thing, but there have been things throughout where I've talked to everybody about something at some point and been like, man, what the fuck? And they've been right there for me.
I feel like Twitch drops, when I did the charity stream a few years back, just being able to like have everybody in the team, as much as we could, try to help and support each other through what was easily like the biggest opportunity for pretty much all the Tarkov content creators, back in over the end of the year. God, I don't even know if it was 2 years ago,
2019.
3 years ago.
Yeah, 2019.
But to be able to try to pass that along between us and other members of the community that we were all, that we're all friendly with, because of that, all of the hosts and stuff, I was able to fucking raise $100,000 in charity and have 100,000, concurrent average viewers for 24 hours straight. We couldn't have done that had we not had, all of the folks basically that were hosting and carrying people up until Pestily, then on to me, and then, trying to carry it forward. That was, I think, like, we've never really been like, we're going to host and you have to do this. But that was something where we kind of like try to be a little bit strategic and help support each other, because that one day was like a third of my income for the year. Like,
I still, I hosted Robn at the end of that, and I love Robn. Like, he's one of my favorite streamers. I go into his stream, and every time I host him, he's like, I love SlushPuppy. He hooked me up. I was like, it was like 4 years ago, dude. You're doing your own thing now. You're killing it. It wasn't me, man.
Great dude. Yeah.
great.
My donation box is still open though, bro.
Yeah.
So now Anton actually is participating. He sent me a couple of questions to ask you guys. Now it's all Tarkov related.
Oh God,
they're not bad.
You're joking. You're literally joking.
I am not. I have the DM to two questions he asked. So first one is, Do you think Tarkov needs to go open world? Now, I don't know if he did that just to rile you guys up or if that's a legitimate question.
No, I don't think it ever will.
I think it does, but it won't.
Yeah, I think it
It's
should.
my dream.
Yeah, it's my
I think
dream.
But
it
I
should
don't
and it
know.
will,
Yeah.
but it'll be done badly.
I don't want to
think
say that.
like the best game in the world for me would be Tarkov, except it's one map and it's as big as Chernarus in DayZ. That would be amazing. But I don't think that it's possible for them to do it with that engine.
I would have to
No.
see how it would be implemented.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And the
Yeah,
second
the would be exfills, infills, how that all works. Is it one server? Are they different? Can you get back in the same rate? Like these are all the questions that
Yeah.
you'd have
just
to
start
answer because there's
destroying.
there's an infinite number of ways they could implement it. From the worst, most terrible thing 10 steps forward to it would instantly make it infinite content, infinite replayability. There's a whole spectrum, and
It's like from what I've heard, like when they talk about it, they talk about like you have to exfil from one map to go to another map. I think that would just be plain annoying. I think it would suck.
I will fix
because
the open world part.
no,
like
they
link the
couldn't do it.
queues together is what it does.
yeah, it's like
Ooh.
if you had everyone has to start on customs, and if you want to go to lighthouse, you have to go from customs to lighthouse. Like, how do you get on and play with your mate? Like, I have 2 hours tonight. I've just put the kids to bed. My mate's on fucking labs, and now we have to do 3 raids to get to each other. It's like that's not gonna fly. That will make the game shit. It's I don't think that'll work, and I don't think it's like it's different to just going into any raid that you want, and it could be considered open world, but it's not, and it would just be annoying, in my opinion.
All right, and
it would be cool to do it for like 1 or 2 maps, but not all. Of them.
Well, and the other piece of that too is like, they're talking about streets having 40 to 50 PMCs. What does that raid look like? How long of a raid is that going to be? Like, some people may just want to go in 10 minutes, get their stuff and get out. And then, how does a 50 PMC raid look?
Probably
There's 1 to
just
2
like a
players that
shoreline
just
raid.
kill the entire raid, and then the rest of them are just dead.
I'll tell you what it
I
looks
run
like.
out of ammo and cower in a corner.
It looks like a fucking slideshow. That's what it looks like.
Come on. Been waiting 76 years.
So now the second question he had is, what gun do you guys want to see added at this point?
I'm not gonna say it. I said 1911 because I wanted it for like 4 years. They added it and it's dog shit. So I'm not
Pest
saying
and I
the gun-
think have. Pest and I think
45
have the same
70
gun.
double reaction.
Yeah. Same.
You guys want the 4570 government.
Yeah, I want the
Jesus.
I want the Henry lever action one that they advertised as a T-Rex hunting gun. That's what I want.
T-Rex. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. That shit's awesome.
Gosh, I just want to see a 30-06, like, or a M1A, or a Grand, or a bar. Like,
Oh,
I
that'd
just
be
would
cool.
like to see those. Yeah.
An SVT-40 would be funny. An automatic, essentially an automatic SVD.
Yeah.
That would be pretty feral.
Ooh.
the G3 from Modern Warfare 2, or no, sorry, COD 4 was one of my favorite guns, especially in hardcore when you could basically one tap people. When
It's
it didn't
coming.
matter that. We'll see if
And
it.
you know what happens? No. You
was-
you asked for the 1911. The G3 is coming, and I'm sorry, but I don't
just
think it's
killed
gonna.
it.
Yeah, you killed it. It's dead.
That was more, I think, it was less about the gun and more about how it felt in that particular game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, not looking for long answers on this one or go down a big old rabbit hole, but we had that BSG podcast. What are your guys' take on the state of Tarkov right now? Now that I've got the legends here who've thousands of hours. You guys went through so much, bugs and right from the grassroots to where it is now. What's your take on the game?
Everybody's adjusting.
Oh
like, in
yeah,
their
they're like
character,
digging in here. All right, here we go.
You're telling us not to give long answers. But,
No,
I'm gonna need another beer for this.
Open it up.
yeah,
Let's
get
go.
I didn't
beer.
watch the podcast, but I would say the current state of Tarkov is it's like it's trying to be too many things, and it's just it can be fun, but I think it's trying to do too many things, and I think it's ruining it.
Scope creep.
Full on identity crisis where it seems like all the things that, for me at least, I never thought they were going to do, all of a sudden they're doing. It seems like they're changing the philosophy of so many things. How long had Nikita said, like, we want every gun in the game, it's going to be awesome, and then all of a sudden change it up to be like, no, only guns that make sense in this Russian fictional conflict, and then we're going to do vaulting when, he said that they probably weren't going to do that. And there's a bunch of things that they are adding that are like, why are you adding? And then a bunch of things they're removing, like Steam Audio, that it's like, why are you removing that? And to me, it just seems like an identity crisis where I feel like Nikita's gone back and forth so many times. I don't know.
I understand the community's frustration. That's where I sit.
My massive issue with this is that there is no roadmap for this game at all. The end goal of what this game is put together off whether Nikita's eyebrow tweaked during a Tarkov TV podcast when someone mentioned bananas, which means Donkey Kong's going to be in the game. Like it's confusing as fuck. Like I know that like Star Citizen, like that game gets a bad rap.
No.
But there's no doubt that they have a roadmap and they're telling people what they're actually going to put in. But when it comes to like Tarkov, I'm sure there is a roadmap out there, but I've never seen it like properly talked about. What's next? What are we actually working on? Like I think they need like proper communication. Like this is what our dev team is working on right now. This is what our environment artists. This is what our gun artists are working. And at the moment, it's just a hope and a prayer as to whether that game's going to end up being what you actually paid for. Or, I mean, I've already got my money's worth. I've got over 10,000 hours in it, so I'm not complaining. But it's not the game that I signed up for.
Now, do you think they need to go external and hire somebody from the industry who can do a roadmap or put together a transition plan or anything like that, rather than just keeping it all in house trying to do that?
They have a roadmap. They just don't want to communicate it because then they're going to be held accountable. And I think Nikita likes his vision and he wants to be able to. If he changes his mind, he changes his mind. And I get that, the autonomy about being like, I'm going to do whatever it's like with a stream. I want to do whatever I want. I don't want to tell people I'm going to play Tarkov Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because on Wednesday I might decide I want to do something different. Mm-hmm. So I'm just not going to fucking say what I'm going to do. The problem is that you have 100,000 people that all think they know, but they're all basing it off of a million different things, some of which things he said, some of which things he didn't say, some of which are things he said that he changed his mind about. And so it's
But you look at like that video from Nice Guy a little while back where he talked to Nikita. Some of this shit I've never even heard of that they're talking about, and I'm like, when the fuck did they decide that they're gonna put that in the game? Like, I've never even heard of this before.
I honestly just I take it as it comes, to be honest, because beforehand I would always they said they were gonna do this, and it's the same fact. Like Street of Tarkov, when I played it in 2015 closed alpha, they talked about release of Streets at end of December 2016. I don't know if you know the dates, but that's nowhere close to where we are now.
Right.
So I've changed completely, where I'm like, bring it, I'll test it, and then I'll tell you if it's shit. Because I can't do the whole they're talking about body armors and this and that. When it's in the game and I can actually test it, then yes.
That comes from a history of being told you're going to get something and then not coming though. Like it's exactly the same as my opinion on it. And people ask me, well, how do you think Arena's going to be? And I say, I'll believe that Arena exists when I'm fucking standing in it.
Yeah.
There's till then, there's no Arena.
The question I get all the time is, what are you excited about? What's coming up that you're excited about? I'm like, guys, like I'm numb. Like it's like there's what's next when it comes out. I'll be excited when I'm playing it, but like I'm not gonna fake my excitement. I'm not gonna just oh my god, the next patch is gonna be lit. Like it's just not me. I'm like this dude. This just
everything.
Slush's fucking.
That's like I got really excited for one wipe when we first got labs. They did a wipe and they were like, we're gonna have a big wipe. It's gonna be sick. And literally all they added after 6 months was the SVD with no
and 2 guns.
No, it was the 2 guns. And that's
2017.
the one wipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was rough.
I'm always like, you guys reset it for 2 things, and
it was
we're gonna sit
2018,
for
sorry.
6 months. Yeah, we're gonna sit for 6 months again, and that's why I hate the. I've always hated people like bring wipe, bring wipe. Okay, if they bring wipe, can they at least not give me 2 guns? And then 7 months of playing it again just to play with 2 guns that
Yeah.
really fucking suck. Like it's so
It's-
hard as a creator. Yeah.
The most recent wipe felt like that. Like they didn't really add that much. The Lighthouse expansion is pretty cool. I like going
It's the
over
size of
there.
factory.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool, but it's not content. Like it's
Right.
7
I
months.
Not
totally
having,
understand.
like,
They
deeper
redid all
ones.
the animations. They did all this like other little
Yeah.
quality of life stuff. I get it. It probably took them fucking thousands of hours of work to get it there. But then like when people are like, oh, you should be playing this game, like you're not playing Tarkov right now, and I'm just like, mate, like it took me all of like 3 hours to see all the new content besides a couple of the new guns, and it's like, so I'm meant to be excited for the next 6 months of 200 hours a month. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm just gonna go back to playing Malada.
so good.
I took it way easy this swipe. I didn't grind for
Yeah.
anything. Like I just hit 40 yesterday. I have made it a point to run with people every stream and just help them do whatever they need to do. And it has been, I haven't grinded my levels. I haven't grinded money. I haven't gone after every quest like I normally, like I'm just whatever. And it's been nice and laid back for me. And you know, if I want to switch up games, then I'll switch up games, but I'm not hardcore into it like I was before.
That's
Mark, do you have the flea market yet?
Well.
Do what?
Veritas, do you have the flea market yet?
Dude, I think I played 10 raids.
I'm
that's-
I
that's
can't
what's
believe you even
changed.
played that much, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what's changed for us. We used to be able to play with each other, myself, Slushy, and Pesty, and now obviously with all the changes and regions and region locks throughout the years, we haven't been playing with each other.
There's
So
one thing
it's-
that has made this wipe a lot more, we'll say bearable, is that I can play with Americans. I've been playing with Kings and Baddie a lot, and I always used to play with them shitloads, and I enjoy that. We have good banter when we play, and it's not it's more just about having community fun, less than actually playing the game, because there wasn't really anything they added that I care about. Like they added a few new guns, all of them are subpar to their counterparts and more expensive. So it's like there's no one using them. It's kind of a pointless patch. So
Remember, I don't know if it was Ghost or if it was Slush, but I remember me, Pestily, and one, I think it was Slush. What the fuck was it? Ghost? I don't know. Where I went on labs with you guys, and I think we all had like a thick item case in our backpack.
Oh yeah,
and it was just
Oh,
a
it was you
shit
guys,
show.
I think.
No,
No, I think I was with once. We did the item case.
maybe it
and
was
the weapons
4 of
case.
us. I don't know.
Oh, do you remember
I'm
the
a
one with
loader.
the item case full of money the thick item case full of money that I gave to that dude?
Holy shit!
And then
I don't remember that.
yeah, on factory, and then I
you
made
did
him.
today.
He walked all the way out like extremely overweight, and then he got to the he had like 196 million rubles or something ridiculous in it, and I gave it to him, and then he walked all the way to the extract, and just as he was extracting, I shot him in the face.
Oh my God.
He was not
no.
happy.
He still is talking to his therapist to this day about the
Wait,
trust
Trust
issues.
issues. Yeah, trust
Yeah,
issues.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tarkov.
Now you brought up
Yeah.
a good point there. Community. A lot of people are having fun with the community aspect of it. Now, what if we could take the team, throw you guys in labs, all 1v1? Who would win?
Ghost.
Bunch of head crackers.
Yeah,
Probably
I would
Ghost.
say
No.
Ghost.
Ghost.
Ghost would be first.
No.
Veritas would be second.
No,
I think Pestily would win.
Fuck off.
Me,
No.
me in my prime could maybe compete at any level. Now I don't know how to use a keyboard and mouse in a shooter.
I would honestly say it's between Slushy and Pest, because I'm super bad at the game. Like
Fuck
No,
off.
fuck
I've been
off.
playing.
Shut
I've been
up.
playing.
Okay.
Listen.
So
I've been
Sigma,
playing.
she's the only one who has any fucking patience.
Land,
Then Sigma would win.
I would haul past gear out as normal. Yeah.
Lamps would probably be me, but any other map would be Ghost.
No.
And where does Anton fit
I've-
into this mix too? Or
I've
we just
killed,
not-
He
Anton would
dies.
kill
He
himself.
kills
He'd jump off a
himself.
ledge, break his
Yeah.
legs, bleed out,
Grenade.
and
I've killed Pest shitloads of time on labs. I reckon I can take it.
Me and Pest did 1v1 on Shoreline. I'm not gonna say who won, but
we should just.
Where's
do the
my
IRL
parchment?
thing.
Where's my parchment?
but he quit. Just saying.
Oh. Now, Sigma,
I
this
have a piece
sounds
of
like
paper.
Sigma. This sounds like an invasion charity event right here. You
Shit,
know,
yeah.
have these
No
all
lie,
stars.
no lie. Yeah.
And
I'm
have-
retired.
Oh, you're
I'm undefeated. Three times.
Oh my god.
That would be epic to see.
No,
See,
okay, so let's actually talk about something legit. I'm actually really proud of the fact that Veritas, me, and we had Ironfist. We pulled off the EU Twitch rivals. Like, we're just a bunch of misfits. Like, it was literally just before the start of the event. I'm like, Sigma, I need a third. Who's from EU? And she's like, Ironfist. I'm like,
yeah.
done. And I'm like, cool.
Wait,
Very
did we
Never
win
spoken
that?
to him before that day.
Did we
The
win
one
that?
that we
won that.
won, Pest. The one that we
forgot
won was like probably the toughest competition. I think that
And
one was. It was
so much fun.
Stacked. There was some
It's
stacked
the one where
fucking teams.
Every
on that.
team was
literally
like-
had to hide inside
Yeah.
the train in
We beat,
reserve.
like
and hide it.
second place,
team.
Landmark, Willerz, and Worren. Three of the greatest that have ever touched the game. The absolute juices, and we still won. I was pretty proud of that.
I think, because we're a bunch of misfits, I think it was actually good fun. It was we were laughing the whole event.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
banter was perfect between you guys for sure.
And it's like where everyone else is out there, like, I'm gonna be the best. And we're like, look at what? You just got another one. Just like laughing at each other.
Yeah, there were probably like other teams that had like fucking team practices and shit beforehand. We were just like, I don't know, dude,
They
just like
did.
wing it. I don't know.
They did.
Have you seen the video where I posted and it's Ironfist? And we're like, you and I are like off like killing everything, and Ironfist is in the background like, I got some vodka. It's like,
And then there's like a 20-minute section where I think it was you had to extract on the train, and you were just
Oh.
prone for like 20
Oh,
minutes just waiting for the train.
I
to
did
come.
that. I did that during ours, and I just sat there with a black screen, just like humming. And everyone's like, "What is he doing?" And I'm like, "Winning, doing my best." Yeah, so boring.
that kind of stuff was a lot of fun. But I hate the competitive aspect of video games. Like,
They don't
it
got
just
it anymore.
like it was fun to do it with you guys, but if I was doing it with randoms, I would have fucking hated it.
Like trying to carry you through all the maps, doing that where we had to go in with everything we would need in our backpack and carry past through all, like that was so
VOP,
fun.
yeah.
That was so fun. I mean,
Actually, playing caddy for Pest was pretty funny, where he wasn't
Oh
allowed to
my
carry a
God.
gun, and I had to give him a gun every time. He's like, "I think
Those
I'll need a
videos?
sniper."
those videos are the freaking best where you're caddying for him. It's amazing. Yeah.
Competitive
funny.
video games, man, is a different. Like, I'm too old for this shit. I got asked to compete in Trackmania, like full speed. It was imagine me in like a 3v3 pickup basketball game with like Shaq, Michael Jordan. Like I got asked to be on a team for Trackmania for racing like competitive full speed, and I was like this. I showed the camera how much I was shaking. If you looked at all the people that competed, and I was in like Division 1, I didn't qualify. Like, only a couple people had to qualify for your team. So like everybody was within thousandths of a second, and then I was plus 4 seconds behind. Like the people casting were like, all he's got to do is finish, because if you come in sixth, you get 6 points.
He's
5,
gotta
4,
cross the
3,
line.
2, and 1. And there are cases where the 1 point matters. So, and I would just be like, just driving just to finish, because if you crash, you can't restart. There's like no respawns. So it was the most nerve-wracking shit ever, and it was completely irrelevant. I didn't matter. I can't compete, dude, in video games anymore. I can't.
I was
That's
so
why
laid back.
I'm on this side of it now, because I don't want to go out and compete. Like, doing the fun things with the friends is super cool, but I'm on this side of it because those guys that we have on Evasion are having an absolute blast and they're loving it, and so it's a great combo. But I don't really have a desire to go out and be competitive.
I was really laid back when we did rivals because I had surgery the day of, and at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then I came home at like midday, and we competed in rivals, and I was so high on painkillers, I couldn't even feel the bottom half of me. I was like, all right, let's this pig, let's do it. It was just relaxed as shit. It worked out pretty well.
Oh, God.
All right. On that note, wow. Well, guys, what you've done for the game and the community has just been fantastic, and it's pretty cool, I have to say, and thank you. It's awesome.
My pleasure.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, we tried.
It's okay. A legitimate response would be they've done just as much for us. Like,
It's valid. Yeah, valid.
I am never gonna have to worry about money again. So like that's nice. One less thing to worry about, and it's just
one less thing to worry about.
You popped the nut.
So that's good.
You've got that money situation. We've squared that away.
But like, it's been like just as much as a learning thing for me and help. Honestly, I always thought I'd be a creative person. I just didn't know how, and now I get to be creative. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing the people you meet through this stuff as well. Like it opens a lot of doors to do other stuff. Like the things that I'm working on now outside of streaming, not streaming, but it's the people that I know through streaming. They make that stuff possible, and so I'm just like, I'm happy that I got to do this, and can continue to do this because it's a huge opportunity,
Yeah, and Noof, even like folks like you who are obviously like entertaining folks who want essentially free entertainment, but you're also like giving a platform to up and coming folks. You're up and coming yourself, but also just like having these conversations to actually give some humanity to content creators is something that even if 3 people watch this and are like, oh yeah, you know what, maybe I need to think about these folks as normal human beings, and how would I, treat them if I was just chilling with them on a Saturday, playing fucking GameCube or whatever, like we were mates. Yeah, even that is like huge for so many people in the community. So thank you as well.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Snoof.
Thank you. Well, I enjoy having you guys on, and the whole purpose of what I do is just to get you on so people can hear your stories outside of just, this guy who's capping heads in a game. And maybe down the road to help some people. Like getting you guys on, hearing your advice, all bantering together might help somebody down the road, those up and coming streamers and things like that.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So now, you guys should get together and do these once in a while, though, and not even talk Tarkov, because it is just so entertaining to hear the banter between, God knows what Slush is going to say. Maybe not live on Twitch, just in case.
God doesn't know.
Give him a bud. We're on our way.
Right?
Yep. Now, one thing I'd like to give a shout out to is, Sigma, on your road trip, you stopped at Amazon Azores. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but if everybody should go check out her stream, because she needs, go check her out. She had a baby a few months ago. Izzy's her name. She has Down. She's having open heart surgery tomorrow. So, if people should swing by her stream and show her some love.
100%. Yeah, great family. Amazon inspector. We got to hang out with them for 2 days, and Izzy and their son, and it was an absolute blast. They're great people. Great people.
And now, Sigma and Veritas have been through this before. Before you guys leave, throw out a name that needs to come on Tarducks. And you guys may have to, twist an arm or so, but who should come out here? And don't say Anton, because I've tried.
Keep trying.
I have to lure him
Be
in.
your life mission.
Right? Yeah.
Have you had
I'd say
Robn?
I wanted
Becky.
to say Robin.
Big K on here.
Yeah,
Who?
Becky's funny.
Okay,
Becky.
all right, Becky or Robin?
Becky? Yeah, Becky or Robin. Robin.
Yeah.
All right.
Red Ops would be a laugh. Red
Red
Ops is
Ops
hilarious.
is coming on
Red
next
Ops,
week.
Yeah.
Ah, you're gonna
Right,
love it.
Dude.
Yeah.
He doesn't even speak English. It's great.
Now, anything you guys got coming down the road you want to give a shout out to now?
I jumped out an airplane.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I did the Ultimate Gaming Chair series on my YouTube. I don't know if you guys have been watching my IRL stuff, but
saw the water skiing thing.
Yeah, so the air one, I go skydiving in a gaming chair. Like I'm physically in the actual gaming chair and get thrown out of plane.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
I gotta watch that.
Can you get Red Bull as a sponsor? Just
It comes out in
case?
3 weeks. I've seen the first cut.
Baumgartner over here.
And then just
it's honestly, it was expensive, but it was so worth it. So much fun.
I think it's gonna be so worth it. Hell yeah.
What are you gonna do with the gaming chair next?
Yeah.
I want to redo the C one. I've got ideas that would definitely work for the C chair, where we can actually go like get dragged by a jet ski and ski along behind on a gaming chair, because I think that would be really cool.
Have you seen those like TLC TV shows where like the people have let's just say relationships with like carnival rides?
Oh,
you can do that.
I married a gaming chair.
Can we do other stuff? So this week's video is the raft from Raft, and we literally make the exact same raft out of the game Raft and then go out in the ocean in actually like really shark infested waters. So it actually kind of fits well with the game. So but I've already organized 2.0 of that, and I'm actually building 2.0 of that in the upcoming week.
Could you make a military gaming chair? Like attach weapons to it?
Make it bulletproof if you get shot in the back through the chair.
Are you gonna take it to TwitchCon with you?
No. Are you guys going to TwitchCon?
Maybe make one that has
no.
Make one that has so many RGBs on it that it blinds people. Like 10 million lumens of RGBs.
I keep coming up with these ideas.
That?
I feel like I'm going to get like in trouble by the police. Like I want to go down the main shopping mall through the city center and have it like connected up to, like with all these big motors on it to like make it go super fast. And
Nice.
Just be like, that's just crazy pest. He's a weird dude that lives up in the country.
That's pest.
You could make it. You can make like a tank treads for it. You could work out a way to make it into like an all-terrain vehicle.
Get an excavator, take the cab off, and put the gaming chair seat.
I mean, Amazon sells those packs that you could buy.
So that's pretty much what I'm doing.
Pick them up. Yeah.
I'm just making a heap of random IRL videos, and it's been so much fun. And I'm really hoping it takes off more and more because people seem to be really positive about it. And where Veritas is getting into his Trackmania stuff, this is where I want to go with as my venture of money pit.
Now you're doing that with your brother, right?
No, my neighbor.
Your neighbor, okay.
I haven't asked you this yet. Did you just move into that house and then just walk up to this bloke and be like, "G'day, sunshine. I'm a fucking weird cunt. You want to just,
and you weld.
You want to go camping with me? I promise I'm not gonna fuck you."
Yeah. How does that work?
Like,
How does that work?
You know Nathan Cavalieri, the musician?
Yeah.
Veritas knows him that. So I was at his gig, and my neighbor's wife was selling Nathan's merch for him. And so after the gig, Nathan and my neighbor's wife and that were all talking, and we started talking. We realized we lived 100 meters down the road from each other. And we were like, "Hey, let's go." And then we just, he thought I was unemployed because I said I played video games, and
until he searched up. Oh,
and so we just used to play board games and watch the footy together.
Nice.
That's funny.
And then I said, "Hey, you want to make some videos?" He's like, yes, I do."
He's pretty funny. I like him.
Yeah,
he is. He's hilarious.
Good character.
And we're doing camping once a month, so I got to get all you guys out to my property, my farm, for a camping stream.
Oh my
Happy
god!
Yeah. Now that I know the kangaroos,
bring the gun. We'll get kangaroos.
Can I tackle one?
As long as Slush isn't hunting kangaroos when I'm there, I'm
only if he's hunting kangaroos.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that on
the
stream.
week before. You can fly in the week
No,
before.
hunting on stream.
Yeah, I don't think you can hunt on stream. I mean,
No,
I
don't
can
even
get,
care
I
if it's
can
on
get one.
stream. I don't want it while I'm there. Period. Don't freak out.
We can use it for a YouTube video. Just blur it all out. You probably get demonetized. I mean, it's a kids channel.
Really gun content.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, unless you're doing something really out there and crazy, like strapping a gun to a robot dog.
That's so funny.
Like, unless you're doing something out there like that, it's all been done. Oh, I blew up a fucking watermelon with my 12 gauge. Fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Well, that's we're all
Wow.
desensitized now. It's like, I don't want to talk to anyone until they blow up a US embassy in Iran or something. Like that's like it's just we're shooting. Everyone shot watermelons.
Noof
Like,
was
wait,
like, shit, I thought I could just do this unedited. Now he's got
Yeah, I've got
yeah.
to drop the
Guys.
cunt word. I've got the you blowing up U.S. embassies. This is just, yeah.
It's
No,
gonna
we need
just
something
bleep out
crazy.
the whole section.
Sigma's
of
killing Amish.
saying anything.
Yeah.
every time Slush goes to talk, it's gonna be like, hey,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh god.
Yeah.
This is-
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, that's
Yeah.
wow. Oh, have you
Yeah,
guys
done my
all
shit out.
met together? Have you ever met
No.
all? Who's met in real life?
let's make Veritas.
Sigma. Sigma was the first streamer I think I ever met.
Ditto. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Starbucks.
We just ran into each other at TwitchCon 2019, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Veritas," and he was like, "Oh my god, Sigma," and so yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
it's a good idea
I've
for
met
you guys.
Best before. That's
Yep.
that's it.
Yeah.
No one's
Well,
missed
Try and
Ghost.
meet Veritas pretty soon and Sigma pretty soon.
Yep. Yep.
You're in September. Yeah.
excellent. And
I'll
now,
be in America from the start of October for 2 weeks.
Alright.
Oh,
So,
cool.
This time I'll fucking meet you.
I'll be in
Bye.
Texas. If you're in Texas,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Are you going to
That's
Texas
where I'm
after
gonna be.
TwitchCon?
Yep.
I'll be there.
Hit me the deeds. Oh,
Oh,
it's
there
like,
we go.
oh, it's starting.
I think
It's
Veritas
starting.
and Sigma need to go plan a trip to Texas.
Maybe we'll just haul the trailer down to Texas and
Yeah.
hang out in Texas.
The next team podcast.
There
That
you
would be
go.
sick.
in person.
Oh my
That
god,
would
in
be
person,
sick.
in person with
Um,
drinks, make it a drinking game.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
dude.
Slush is gonna win. Fuck. God damn it.
Not anymore. No, I'm clean skinned, bro. I don't drink at all.
I didn't say
I don't
drinking
drink it.
competition.
What the fuck are you on about?
Soda water, bro.
Well, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys doing this.
Well, I kind of took all the hogging. Veritas, shout your shit out and
Oh, yeah.
slash it and all that. Like I kind of like, you know.
I got a second channel. It's Satire V. It's Veritas backwards. That's where I have all my like Trackmania and some other more variety content. The Trackmania documentaries are the best content I've ever made, hands down, easily. But yeah, go watch them if you're interested. If not, then fuck off and go watch whatever Sigma's about to say.
Well, I mean, you know, Evasion. So I have Evasion, and we're moving on to season 7, and hopefully all the things that BSG and Evasion have discussed will come to fruition, and it'll be a kick-ass time.
Slush?
Yes.
Hey, I'm working on something secret that I haven't announced yet, so I can't tell anyone.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Hopefully by the end of the year.
Awesome.
I will probably be full-time streaming, and then one of my RL channels I'll be starting up at the end of December. So also a little bit, secret.
Nice.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
I can't
All right.
wait.
Well, I hope you guys all get together and do this together. Another, a team podcast somewhere down the road where it's not Tarkov, just you guys doing what you're doing and praying to God Slush doesn't say something that gets you all banned.
That would be best case.
Every day.
honestly.
We'll at least be laughing all the way there.
There you go.
I'll laugh all the way to that ban.
I'm the only one that's been banned out of all of us, actually.
You've been banned?
I fell
Oh,
asleep
yeah.
on stream.
Yeah.
They can. Like a,
Now there's a sleeping category. I was pissed about that.
exactly.
Yeah, you can sleep
I
on
spent
stream.
so many bits trying to wake him up, and then panicked and went to Pest and was like, "Pest, just do something." He was like, "Sig, shut up." I was like, "I just, oh god."
Let it
Fine.
be banned, it's content.
Yeah.
Content. I love when you came back.
Yeah, for the game,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
I am reformed. Cracks beer.
Yeah. Thirsty, man.
Yeah.